Most people believe that slavery destroyed love. They imagine chains, whips, auctions, and silence. They do not imagine two people looking at each other in the dark and choosing, quietly, to care. But in 1783, on a sugar plantation in the Caribbean, two people fell in love in a place where love was forbidden. This is their story. The plantation was large. Endless rows of sugarcane stretched toward the hills. The air was heavy and sweet during harvest season, but behind that sweetness was suffering. Hundreds of enslaved Africans worked from sunrise to nightfall. They cut cane under burning sun. They carried heavy loads. They slept in wooden huts with dirt floors. The owner of the plantation rarely worked the fields. He lived in a large house on a hill, where the wind was cooler and the noise of labor was far away. His name was Julian Morrow. He was not born cruel, but he was born into a system that taught him that some lives were property, and that belief shaped everything. Her name was Amma. She had been taken from West Africa. When she was 16, she survived the Atlantic crossing. She survived the auction block. She survived the first brutal year on the plantation. Amma worked in the fields at first, but she was strong and quick to learn. Soon she was moved to work in the boiling house, where sugar was processed. It was dangerous work. Hot syrup burned the skin. Steam filled the air, but it was better than the fields. Amma did not speak much. She observed. She remembered. She learned Creole and French slowly. What no one knew was that she also remembered songs from home. At night, when others slept, she hummed them quietly. Julian heard one of those songs one evening. He had come down from a house to inspect the boiling house. It was late. The workers were cleaning up. He heard a voice, soft, steady, not loud enough to be called rebellion, not weak enough to be called fear. He stood still and listened. Alma did not see him at first. When she turned and noticed him, she froze. She expected punishment. Instead, he asked, "What language is that?" She did not answer. He repeated the question. Finally, she said, "It is from home." That was the first time they spoke. It should have ended there, but it did not. Julian began visiting the boiling house more often. He told himself it was to check production, but he always asked where Alma was working. He asked about her home. She answered in short sentences. He asked about the song. She said it was about rain after a long dry season. He had never thought about rain as hope before. Slowly, conversations grew longer. He learned that she had a younger brother she never saw again. She learned that he did not truly choose this life, but inherited it. Neither of them spoke the word love. They did not dare. On a plantation, nothing stays hidden for long. Other workers noticed that Alma was not punished as harshly as before. They noticed that she was sometimes assigned lighter duties. Some were suspicious. Some were afraid for her, because when a white owner showed attention to a black woman, it rarely meant safety. Alma knew the danger. She told Julian once, "If they think I belong to you, they will hate me." He answered, "You do not belong to anyone," but the law said otherwise. In the colony, marriage between enslaved people and white owners was illegal. Any child born to an enslaved woman would be enslaved too. That meant something terrible. If Alma became pregnant, her child would legally be property, even if Julian loved the child, even if he wanted to protect it. The system did not care about feelings. It cared about ownership. And yet, one night during the rainy season, they crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. When Alma realized she was pregnant, fear washed over her like cold water. She did not cry. She did not shout. She simply sat in silence. Julian felt something different, a strange mix of joy and dread. He said, "I will protect you." But protection inside slavery was fragile. When the child was born, it was a boy. His skin was lighter than Alma's, but darker than Julian's. His eyes were sharp and curious. Alma named him Kojo. Julian insisted the child be baptized quietly. He paid the priest extra to avoid questions. On paper, Kojo was just another enslaved child. In secret, he was a son. By day, Kojo stayed with the other enslaved children. By night, Julian sometimes visited the slave quarters, risking his reputation, risking scandal. Alma hated those visits at first. not because she did not care for him, but because every visit increased the danger. If another white landowner accused Julian of improper relations, Alma could be sold. Kojo could be taken. Julian began planning something bold. He would free the child. Manumission, the act of freeing a slave, required paperwork and money. It required explanation. Freeing an unrelated child was possible. Freeing the child of an enslaved woman, you were rumored to favor raised questions. Julian arranged for Kojo to be listed as the child of a distant mixed-race woman who had died. It was a lie. The paperwork took months. During those months, Alma lived in fear that someone would discover the truth. Finally, Kojo was legally free at age 6, but there was another decision to make. Julian planned to send Kojo to France for education. Free black children in the colonies still faced discrimination and danger. Alma understood what that meant. She would not go. Julian could not legally marry her. He could not easily free her without attracting suspicion. Freeing adult enslaved women linked to owners often triggered investigation. One evening, Alma asked him, "Will he remember me?" Julian had no answer. The ship left at dawn. Kojo cried as he was taken aboard. Alma did not cry in public. She stood still. When the ship disappeared into the horizon, she finally allowed herself to break. Julian never married a white woman. That alone caused whispers. Alma continued working on plantation. She aged faster than she should have. Kojo grew up in France. He learned to read, to write, to speak perfect French. He knew he had been born in the islands. He knew his father had sent him. He asked once about his mother. Julian said, "She was strong." That was all. In 1848, slavery was abolished in the French colonies. Alma was no longer property, but she was old by then. Kojo, now a grown man, returned to the island once. He searched for her. He found a small grave behind the old slave quarters. There was no stone, no record, only memory. This is not a story of heroes. Julian was not a savior. He was part of the system that enslaved Alma. Alma was not powerless. She loved in a place designed to crush love. Kojo carried two worlds inside him. Their story is not written in official records, but it mirrors thousands of real lives. On plantations across the Caribbean and the Americas, families existed in the shadows. Love survived inside cruelty. Children were born into contradictions. History often speaks about slavery in numbers, but numbers do not hum songs in the dark. Numbers do not stand at the edge of the sea, watching a ship disappear. Numbers do not wonder if a child will remember their mother's face. Slavery tried to control bodies. It could not fully control the human heart, and that is why these hidden love stories still matter.